Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, the 28th of July, 2022. We have our wonderful Mr. Shakespeare back by popular demand. They love you, Mr. Shakespeare. They do. In the comments, on the Patreon, in the text messages, in the emails I'm getting, on the Discord. You are growing in popularity. They love you. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Liz. It's always a pleasure.
Yes. And we love your questions. We love how you're doing this. So please do carry on. Who are we probing now?
I want to just make a little announcement before we do that, if it's okay.
Okay.
Just that one of the things that I'm noticing over all the videos that we've done over the last whatever it is, week or two, some of which I know that haven't been released yet, but there's a couple of overarching things, that some of the themes that are coming out, which are, you know, not to put too fine a point on it, a bit Debbie Downer. They're not
Debbie Downer. That is a lovely British expression.
Yeah. So,
or the other one, are you a bunny boiler? I love that. I love that expression. You don't hear that here in the US, right? You only hear that in the UK. Oh, they're a right bloody bunny boiler, or they're like a wet weekend, or, you know, I love those expressions. It's so colorful, the language over there. And then even when you work for the police, it becomes even more colorful because you have nicknames for all the scrotes, as it were. There you go. I recently saw on a Facebook page on one of the London Metropolitan Police pages that I'm, you know, on. Thousands of other people are on. And somebody had heard that podcast, right? That went out to lots of people, and they're like, oh, I was listening to this psychic that was on this podcast and blah, blah, blah. It was just so funny. And then they all started saying about their experiences. You know, did a medium or a psychic ever help you solve a crime? And their responses were hilarious, as per usual, in the police. You know, but anyway, it was funny. But yeah, in the police, in London, oh my God, the language is extremely colorful of the criminals, and I loved every second of it there. So without further ado, please go ahead, Mr. Shakespeare.
Without further ado. Much ado about nothing.
Much ado about nothing.
So no, I was just saying some of the overarching sentiments that are coming out of our videos, especially going into, you know, the parts of this year and early next year, is there's a lot of doom and gloom about. And there is, because things bad are going to happen. You know, economies are going to crash. Europe's in, you know, going down the toilet. There are lots of things that will happen that will not be good for the population. The only thing we'd like to say, or I'd like to say about this, is 24 and 25 are the recovery years. But we definitely have the rest of this year and a lot of next year, which is not going to be good. So I just wanted to put that out there, because we're, the more and more videos that we're doing, the more and more people from different walks of life in different fields and everything, and they're all there's a confluence there that people that we're seeing. Liz and I are definitely seeing it, and hopefully our fine audience members are seeing this as well. So, you know, just saying that we have to hold on to our hats maybe for a little while. Anyway, right.
Yes, but knowing the information is empowerment. Okay.
True.
I've always been the psychic medium that's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And those of you that have come through for readings with me, You know that sometimes I can be a little harsh, and I hate that. But I think a lot of times people need a reality check. And I'm only giving you what your loved ones in spirit are telling me, what your future self is telling me. And you walk away from that reading and you have two options. You can either sit there and pity and wallow and cry, or you can walk away from that reading empowered. And I would prefer that you walk away from that reading empowered and know, okay, this option is not going to work, but now I'm empowered to pursue other options. For instance, just lately, because of the crypto market, okay, the crypto market has been bad. Do you know how many people were living on cryptos without a job, without a college degree, without an education, without a backup plan? Loads. And when this came crashing down, they actually thought they were going to be able to live on cryptos for the rest of their lives. And it just isn't a realistic view. And for those of us in the States, I'll go one even further. You're in your 20s, right? Because a lot of them were in their 20s. And you're sitting there and you're thinking you're going to live on cryptos for the rest of your life and you're never going to have a job. And that's okay because everything is wonderful and everything is fine. However, you're not in the job market. You're not employable if you are not in the job market for quite some time. You have no health insurance, okay? No health insurance. And you can break an arm or a finger or a wrist or whatever in your 20s. But as you start getting older into your 40s, your 50s, and into your 60s, right? As you're getting older, problems come about. Your whole crypto holdings can be wiped out with one medical bill, right? So push comes to shove. The fact that the cryptos are down and you have to go back to college and you have to get a job and you end up having a good health insurance plan and you end up having a 401k and you end up contributing to the Social Security system, I don't see how that's a bad thing. Your soul is going to make sure that you survive this lifetime as much as it possibly can. And on the road you're going, which is living on cryptos, and you think you're going to do this for the rest of your life, that's just not, that's like mission impossible, right? So a lot of times when people are having readings with me, it's a wake-up call. And those of you that have had readings with me, you know that. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sell you hopium. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear unless it is definitely on the cards for you. So, and by the way, if you want to book a reading with me, I have a nice new shiny website, psychiclizcross.com. Anyway, Mr. Shakespeare, Francis Bacon. This should be interesting.
Okay. We're going to start with Francis Bacon. Okay, so he was the Lord High Chancellor of England. He was around 400 odd years ago. We need to get a connection with him, please.
Yeah, he's been reincarnated since then. But yes, I have him as the former Lord, or the former, he was a Viscount. Okay. I have him as the former Francis Bacon. He actually came back as a poverty-stricken pauper, but he's like, that lifetime was pretty hard, and he's back in spirit again now. But yes, I do have Francis Bacon.
Okay. So my first question, was he William Shakespeare?
Ooh, I did not know you were going to ask that. Were you William Shakespeare? No.
Okay. All right. That puts that
There
one.
is a lot of controversy around William Shakespeare. And funnily enough, Mr. Shakespeare, I will be delving into William Shakespeare for the next year, simply because one of my children has to study it intensely, and it will be fun. But yes, there are a lot of theories around William Shakespeare. Do you know a lot of these theories?
I know of some of them, yes. But I was more interested to find out if this guy was William Shakespeare, because there was a huge rumor mill about this guy. He there's part of numerology, gematria, called the Francis Bacon cipher, which he invented. He was a very clever man, very clever. Okay. I don't actually have any other questions for him at the moment. I will do, but we'll do another one later on. But I just I had to know. I had to know because someone asked, did you pick this up because it's to do with Francis Bacon? So I said, well.
You know what would be a great video? To find a William Shakespeare conspiracy theorist and have them on with you as a guest, and then they're grilling and asking the questions. Now, Shakespeare, let me see if I can channel William Shakespeare. Did you actually exist? Yes, he did. Were you actually called William Shakespeare? I believe he went by a different name.
All right. Okay. All right.
Why did you call yourself William Shakespeare? That was a name that was given to him by friends. I don't feel as if that was his actual name at birth.
Okay. Interesting. All right. We'll do this another day. I've got some other ideas about that. All right, let's drop all these guys.
Okay, and do you want to go on to the next video?
No, we could. Well, you can make that. You want to make that a separate video? Fine.
No, we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going.
All right. I want to talk about this guy now.
Okay.
This is Pepe Escobar.
Okay.
He's Brazilian by birth. He's a journalist. He comments mainly on Far Eastern matters, China, things like that. He wrote for the Asia Times for quite a lot. He's widely quoted in a lot of places, not so much on the mainstream, but he is. How's he doing today?
He's all right. He's a quiet man.
Yeah. Is he still in Turkey?
He's still in Turkey? Not at the moment.
Oh, okay. He had some views on the current Ukrainian situation. How does he think all that's happening? How's that panning out?
He says we'll never know the truth.
Okay. Does he intend to cover it till its end?
He believes it's impossible to cover it.
Why is that?
Where he is at the moment.
Okay.
Because in order to cover it properly, you need to be embedded and have connections on both sides. And it's just not possible right now.
Okay. All right. So he has no plans to go to either Russia or Ukraine?
Do you have any plans to go to Russia or the Ukraine right now? Not at the moment.
Okay. How does he think the economy, the global economy, is doing as a result of what's going on in Ukraine and Russia?
How do you think the global economy is doing as a result of Ukraine and Russia? I don't know what he means by this, but it's a mask.
It's a mess?
A mask. A mosque.
Oh, a mask.
Mm. 4 candles.
4 candles, yeah.
For our British audience out there, they'll know what that means.
4 candles, yeah.
4 candles or 4 candles.
So he thinks it's a mask. So it's some form of coverall, or it's a subterfuge. Is that what he's thinking?
Do you believe it's some form of coverall or subterfuge? It appears that way, yes.
So whilst this is going on, don't look over there at the state of the economy, that type of thing. It's literally to divert everybody's attention.
Do you believe it's a diversion tactic? It seems so.
That's interesting. Okay.
I've never heard of him. Is this kind of along the lines of what he writes?
He's been around a long time. He writes all sorts of things. He writes for the UMS Review. He writes for he's quoted on the Seiko. He's quoted all over the place, really. I mean, he's he's been a professional journalist since the 1980s. So he's been around a lot. I think he comments more from the Asian side of things. He seemed to have been embedded out there more recently. But yeah, I mean, he's a proper journalist. He's not a.
Okay, I like this tactic of probing journalists, actually.
Well, I do, because the problem is most journalists are not journalists anymore. They just rewrite what they're told and take the money. So they're not, there is no investigative journalist. He is one. Okay. He was in Turkey recently, and how's Turkey doing?
How's Turkey doing? He feels like this is his own personal thought, feeling, and opinion. Turkey's very oppressed.
Oppressed.
Yes. It's not as free as he would like.
Right. Is that because, is there sort of problems with movement, or is it free speech, or is it the money and the banking system? What specifically does he not like?
Free speech. Yes, you have to be cautious. It's like everybody's always watching you.
Right. Okay.
You have to be careful.
Is there some sort of surveillance thing going on there, or?
Is there some sort of surveillance thing going on? Everybody's always watching.
Right, but is it state sponsored, or is it just people being, super nosy, or I mean?
Is it state sponsored surveillance? No, it's just the culture.
Okay, all right. Okay, how's the Turkish economy doing?
It's doing better than other places.
Okay, how does he see the outlook for the rest of the year?
It's uncertain.
Okay, move him to January the 7th, 2023, please.
January 7th, 2023, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you like to know?
Looking back for the last 2 quarters, how's everything shaped out? How's the world looking? What's happened as far as he can see?
It's certainly worse than it is in July. So
okay,
again,
is this economics, or is this political, or what particularly is worse?
Is it the economic situation? Economy, not so much political, but the economy.
Is that globally, or just Europe, or is it America or China? I mean, can you be a bit more specific?
It's globally.
Right, globally economy. Okay. And what does he think the outlook is for 2023?
It's not looking good. It's uncertain.
what's his plans for 2023? Does he plan on writing books, or is he just going to be a contributor to publications? What does he plan on doing?
He wants to travel. I feel like he wants to do some interviews in some deep, dark places. I don't know where he's going, but he certainly wants to do some interviews and write about culture. I don't know if that's something that he does write about often, but he wants to write about culture and the economy and other places. So I feel, do you normally write about the economy? I feel like he's going to change his stance a little bit, not stance, but change his genre a little bit, and maybe go into like culture and interviewing people that normally do not get a place on the world stage.
Right. Oh, okay. Right. Good. Okay. So we can drop him. Thank you.
Okay.